Howdy, I'm Michael from the KA Ranch, and today we're going to grill up a turkey. Yep, that's what I said, we're going to grill it up. Now, most people think when they're going to do a turkey it's going to be done in the oven. Then there's people who are going to smoke them, and of course one of my favorites is deep frying. But today we're going to do it on a grill. And to do that, we're going to take a 22-inch Weber and we're going to literally turn it into a convection oven. So to do that, we're going to need these handy dandy charcoal baskets. Now you can do it without baskets, but they sure make life a lot easier. By putting the charcoal or the coals in these baskets, we're going to be able to separate them, creating heat from the sides and no direct heat from the bottom. This is called indirect heat. Pour just enough lighter fluid to make sure that all the coals are wet. Now, I know they soak it up a little bit, but you'll be able to tell the difference between a wet coal and a dry one. It's alright to use a little bit more. You don't want to go overboard. Now, despite what the instructions say, wait 1 full minute. In the meantime, I'm going to replace the cooking grate. Make sure that the louvers on the bottom are wide open. Okay, once you've waited 1 full minute, and you have your grate back over so we can sterilize the grate, you're going to light it in several spots. The long lighter. I prefer starting in the back so I can back away as the flames grow. Now this will burn up like this for just a few minutes. Then the flames are going to calm down and it'll smolder. We're going to wait about 25 minutes, and by then we should have a nice even ash across the coals and they'll be ready. While the grill's heating up, it's time to get our turkey ready for. Then we're going to make up a quick stuffing here. Got here some cornbread stuffing we got from the store, but you can use any old bread or white stuffing if you like. We're going to add chopped up apple and some celery slices. We got here big old helping of jalapeno and onion relish from the KA Ranch. Good old couple of forkfuls there. Of course, a handful of nuts. We're going to mix this up with just enough broth, chicken broth, to make a damp but still kind of crunchy mixture. Remember, you can always add more broth, but you can't always take it out. You don't want to end up with mush. When you get that about right, a good couple shakes of sage. Love sage. Not too much, it's a very powerful herb. Okay. And that's just about right there. A little more. Perfect. And I'm going to set this aside, and now we're going to get the bird ready. Try to find a bird between 18 and 22 pounds. With cool water, I'm going to rinse the whole bird, inside and out. Pat this bird down, nice and dry. Now, a lot of people like to inject their bird with liquid seasoning or liquid solution, and that's fine, but you don't really have to when you're cooking a bird this fast. It really maintains a lot of its moisture and juices when it's cooking on a grill. And also, most of your birds you get store-bought are already injected. You can see the little holes there with a broth and a butter solution. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to stuff this bird I'll probably go bring it back to the sink to do this. The stuffing that we just made earlier. You can use a spoon, or sometimes it's easier to use your hand. And you want to stuff it in there kind of firm, but not overly so, because you want to give the stuffing some room to expand as it cooks in there. You see that you usually have a little chunk of fat at the back end of the bird. I put that in there to give it some flavor in the stuffing. Push that right in there. And we're going to hold all that in place with a good old apple. We'll secure the apple in place with these metal pins. I like the metal pins, they're really strong, but toothpicks work too, just as fine, or wooden skewers. Okay. Now we still got quite a bit of stuffing left. And that's what we're going to put up here in the neck region. Looks a little funny, but it tastes good. So now for the best part. You get to rub the bird. I'll start with the back side because that's not going to be the pretty side. We can mess that up a little bit. We're first going to spray the whole bird or coat the whole bird lightly with olive oil. That gives the skin a nice crispy effect. It'll cook up nice and crispy. It also helps the rub stay on. Now rubs are a misnomer. We don't actually rub the seasoning onto the bird. We just kind of sprinkle it and pat it down. But it sounds better than just pouring it on. The rub we're going to use today is from KA Ranch. It's the Number Wonderful rub, the best rub that we have. And it is perfect for poultry, pork, even brisket. It makes for it. Look at that color coming up there. Just throw this on there, throw it onto the side. Make sure you get it up underneath the wings. Turn it over. Look at that. KA Number Wonderful. Just the right seasoned mixture of salt, pepper, paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, just a little bit of cayenne to make it interesting. Of course, a little bit of sugar. You can put as much or as little of this on as you like. Yeah. I'm going to pin these wings in because I don't want them to dry out in the cooking process. And there, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a fine bird about ready to go put on the grill. And I'm going to lift off this grate. Remember to use, it's hot. I'm going to set it over as we prepare to turn this grill into an oven. And carefully move these over to the side, just like I told you. Seize the opportunity to knock off a little bit of dust. Okay. And now we're going to put a gravy pan right in the middle of that. You might have to bend up the edges a little bit. And try not to let any ash get in there, but that might sometimes happen. At this point, I'm going to add some wood chunks, some smoking wood chunks. This happens to be hickory. Some people like to use apple or pecan or mesquite. So whatever your flavor is. Make sure you use a hardwood. You don't want to use any coniferous wood or anything like that that'll put a bad taste on it. But you can get this stuff at any grill store, and most department stores stock this now too. Alright, you see that smoking up real nice. Put the grilling grate back on. And now you notice that these little hinged areas here allow me to access to the coals now. Now there's some grates that'll have holes by the handles. But while we have the chance, I'm going to top off the coals. You don't have to use lighter fluid anymore. Just put the coals down at the bottom. I'm going to keep this all lit. We're going to have to do this about every 40 minutes or so. I'm going to take the bird carefully, put it right here in the center. Just like so, with the legs tapped towards the front. And you carefully put the cover on it. And we're going to let that cook for about 4 hours for a 18-pound bird. About 3 hours for a 13 or 14-pound bird, and maybe 5 hours if you can get a bigger bird than that on here. I think we're just at about showtime. Let me check. There we go. Just take the thermometer and stick it deep into the breast. Don't touch the bone. And give it a few minutes, just a few seconds to read. Yeah, look at that. 183. Perfect. Now there's no way I can handle this 18-pound bird alone. I'm going to need some help. Eddie, you come over here. I got these special tongs. I've seen people use forks and spatulas before. You're going to want to realize that the back of this is going to stick to the grate. You really don't want to drop it at this point in the game. There you go. 18 pounds.
That's a good looking bird, Michael.
Alright, let's bring that on into the kitchen and we'll come right back out with the drippings. All these juicy drippings. We're going to make a fantastic gravy. Now it's going to be very hot liquid. You've got to be very careful. Make sure
do it over the grill.
Yeah. Make sure you use a Pyrex. Okay, as you can see, we got about 2 cups total out of this. And the fat's starting to separate off from the drippings. And we're going to I got a special gravy separator in the kitchen so that we get all this good stuff down here at the bottom. And that's going to make some awesome gravy.
I can't wait. After an entire day's worth of preparation, Pitmaster Michael finally sits down to enjoy dinner with his wonderful family. And as you can see, autumn in Texas.
Oh, natural.
You don't want to know what I think of that tax bill.
And then when I got that little postcard from the city of Cedar Hill saying, oh, the reason your bill is so short is because we haven't added on our portion yet.
That's because they want you to ratify a humongous. They can't take on that debt load. They're hiding how much debt they already have.
Here at KA Ranch, there's nothing finer than good food, good friends, and good times.
ISD has a $4,000 per capita
A Pitmaster Michael has yet pulled off
and they want to
another
add another
wonderful meal for his family and friends.
What? Michael, that's a great looking turkey. Good job.
The turkey was out of this world. It was so juicy. It wasn't dry.
Yeah, apparently, I mean, I was worried that not enough tickets sold out.